नोट्स कभी मिस हो गए.
Okay, done. So gravitation, as we all know, was discovered by whom? Gravity. Who discovered gravitation? Invent किया. What is the difference between discovery and invention? पता है कि नहीं है आप लोगों को? इन्वेंशन जो नहीं होता है उसको ढूंढने को बोलते हैं, उस वक्त नहीं है उसको इन्वेंशन बोलेंगे. डिस्कवरी जो ऑलरेडी है और सिर्फ उसका पता लगाया है ना, जैसा अमेरिका वाज देयर, लेकिन उसको डिस्कवर किया किसने? किसने डिस्कवर किया था? किसने? आइंस्टाइन ने?
नहीं, कोई तो था.
न्यूटन.
वो ग्रेविटी, उसने ग्रेविटी को डिस्कवर किया. अमेरिका की बात कर रहे हैं.
न्यूटन.
अच्छा चलो ठीक है, anyway, let's forget that. Let's come to gravitation. Yes, Newton was the scientist who discovered gravity. As the story, or rather as the event goes, okay, as it is said that an apple fell on his head and he realized it, or it fell down and why not and all those things. After that he came to the conclusion that it is due to the gravity. So what is gravity? What is gravity? Let's write down. पता है किसी को डेफिनेशन ग्रेविटी का? हाँ
सर, ये भी केमिस्ट्री की बुक में ही लिखना है ना?
हाँ हाँ लिख लो. ये जो चैप्टर्स मैं पढ़ा रहा हूँ सब एक बुक में. Doesn't matter what the title is. जितने भी चैप्टर्स मैं पढ़ाऊंगा ना उसको उसमें अपनी.
ओके सर.
So what is gravity? Nobody knows. Gravity is the force with which, okay, two objects are attracted towards each other. Okay, gravity is the force by which two objects are attracted towards each other, and those two objects can be any two objects in the universe. It is not only Earth and Apple and Earth and Moon. It can be the other way around also, Apple and Moon also. Okay, and
okay, sir.
There is this force of attraction, and this force is directed towards the center of that body. It is directed towards the center of the body. Okay, is that clear? The gravitational
Yes,
force is the force which acts between or attracts two objects. Okay, and it is directed, it attracts, but where does it attract? It is directed towards the center of the object, towards this. What it means is the apple which fell down was attracting the earth towards the center of the apple, and the earth was also attracting the apple towards the center of it. Okay, of course the force with which the earth was attracting was more, that's why the apple fell down. That's the reason the apple fell down and not the earth moved up. But the earth was also attracting, okay, the apple, and the apple was also attracting earth. Okay, so that is what is gravity. Now what is force? It is due to this force that it is there, the force of attraction. So what is force? Force is a physical quantity which changes the direction of an object. Okay, force is a physical quantity which changes the direction of an object in which it is moving. For example, if a vehicle is moving in a particular direction and you apply brakes, so vehicle is moving in a particular direction, and if you apply brake, then that would change the direction in the sense, or it would change the speed. It will change the speed or direction. One of the two things has to happen. It will either change the speed or it will change the direction. When you apply the brakes, the speed will reduce. When you apply the brakes, the speed will reduce. So that is acting as a force. Of course, it's acting in the opposite direction, so it is negative. Similarly, if you are pedaling a bicycle, If you apply more force, the speed will increase. So the speed is changing. Now, how does the force act and does not change speed but changes direction? Supposing you have tied a stone to a string and you rotate it like this. With the help of a string, you keep on moving it. So it is moving with the same speed. It is moving with the same speed. It is moving round and round and round. But at every point, it is changing direction. At every point, it is changing direction. So that is the force. Okay. So that is necessary. Without that force, if you were not applying that force, the stone would just drop down. If the force was not applied, the stone would drop down. But because the force is applied and it is tied, it is moving in a circular motion. This you have done in your 9th standard, uniform circular motion and all those things. Okay. I'm just trying to explain what is force. Okay. Now, based on this, there is circular motion, there is a centripetal force. This force which is keeping, in this case, when we are tying it, the stone is tied with the string. The string works as a force which does not allow the stone to move away. It is keeping it with itself or tied to the hand which is moving it. It is not allowing it to go away. It is not releasing it. Okay. So that is also a force. That force is called as centripetal force. That force is called as centripetal force. So let's write down the direction of centripetal force. Okay, because the centripetal force is what helps the planets to move in their orbits. Okay, it does not allow the planets to move away from its path. That is because of the centripetal force. Okay, the sun attracts the earth towards itself. The sun attracts the other planets towards itself, just like the earth attracts the moon towards itself. So because of this centripetal, because of this force of attraction, okay, it does not allow कि moon कहीं भी घूम के नहीं आ जाता है. It moves only in a orbit. It moves only in an orbit. Okay. So let's write down what is centripetal force. Okay. Write down centripetal force. A force which acts on any object. A force which acts on any object. A force which acts on any object moving along a circle. Force which acts on any object moving along a circle and directed towards the center of the circle. A force which acts on any object moving along a circle and directed towards the center of the circle. Directed towards the center of the circle is called the centripetal force. C-E-N-T-R-I-P-E-T-A-L. Centripetal. C-E-N-T-R-I-P-E-T-A-L. Centripetal force, and is called the centripetal force. It's called centripetal force. Yes.
We have to write definition of gravitation also, no?
Gravitation, it was just for your knowledge, nothing major. This thing.
Okay, so we have to start from here.
Yeah, if you have written that, well and good. If you have not written, still no problem. ये तो लिखना ही है, centripetal force.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
So can you repeat from that directed towards the center of? Can you repeat from the?
Directed towards the center of the circle. This force is called the centripetal force. 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 Okay. Basically what it means is centripetal means moving towards the center or trying to go towards the center. That is centripetal. Just like as I explained to you, this is why the planets move in a particular path or an object and do not move away. Okay, this is why the motion, this is how the motion of your planets around the sun or satellites around the planets takes place. Okay. Now, if this centripetal force was not there, then what would happen? If this centripetal force, which is binding it toward, or which is pulling it towards the center of the circle, if this was not there, what would happen? What would happen is it would move in a tangential direction. The stone or the planet, supposing if this is the center of the circle and this is the string, it moves in this direction like this. Okay, it moves in a circular path like this. But if supposing this force was not there for some reason, then what would happen? If you release the stone here, it would move in this direction. If you release the stone here, it would move in this direction. If you release the stone here, it would move in this direction. If you released it over here, it would move in this direction. If you released it over here, okay, it would move in this direction. That means it would move at a tangent. It would move at a tangent. Wherever you release it, it would move at a tangent. यहाँ से वो straight line में चला जाता था. It would not continue in this path. यहाँ पे छोड़ दिया, it would move like this. यहाँ पे छोड़ दिया, it would move like this. यहाँ छोड़ दिया, it would move like this. It would move in a tangential direction and it would not continue the way it is continuing. It is just because of this force which is binding it towards the center or which is pulling it towards the center. Okay, this is because of that the circular motion exists. Okay. So because of this force of attraction towards the center or towards the sun, the planets move around it, or by the force exerted by Earth on moon, the moon moves around the Earth in a circular orbit. That is what it means. Is this clear? This is why the planets, they do not just go around anywhere, but they move in a particular well-defined orbit just because of this centripetal force of attraction. Are we clear? Centripetal
Yes, sir.
force.
Yes, sir.
And due to this centripetal force only, it keeps on changing its direction. Excuse me. The same logic also works on your satellites and which we launch. Okay, which are launched. There also the same this thing is working. There also the same thing works, and it keeps the satellite moving around the Earth, whether it is man-made or whether it is natural. Okay, so that is what is centripetal force. Then, based on these Newton's law, Newton's findings of gravitation and centripetal force, Kepler gave us some laws. His laws were basically with respect to planets. Okay, Kepler's law were with respect to planets. He gave those laws with respect to planets. What did he say? Like Newton, his are also 3 laws that are there. Kepler's 3 laws are there. All of you, if you have your textbook, please open it to page number 3. Okay, so that those diagrams that are there, that will help us to understand Kepler's law easily. Because as we know, Earth is not a circular object. It is not spherical, isn't it? It is flat at the poles and bulging at the equator. Earth is not like a sphere. It is flat at the poles and bulging at the equator. And due to this, the orbits also are not circular, but they are elliptical. Orbits are not circular, but they are elliptical. Okay, that is what is an ellipse that they have shown you in figure 1.3. Okay, it has almost 2 centers, basically, you can say. Not 2 centers, but it will have 2 focuses. Okay, from where every point is constant. 2 focal points are there in case of an ellipse. Okay, so let's write down Kepler's laws, the 3 laws that Kepler has given. We'll write them down, we'll understand them, and then we'll proceed further. Kepler's first law. What does he say? Now, as I said, this is with respect to planets. Kepler's law is with respect to planets. He says the orbit of a planet, first law, he says the orbit of a planet is an ellipse. The orbit of a planet is an ellipse. ELLIPSE is an ellipse. Orbit of a planet is an ellipse with the sun at one of the foci. With the sun at one of the foci, FOCI. Okay, singular is focus, FOCUS. Plural is foci, FOCI. The orbit of a planet is an ellipse with the sun at one of the foci. So in figure 1.3, as you can see, there is F1 and F2. So sun will be either at F1 or F2. That means at one point it will come closer to the sun and then go further away. It will come closer to the sun, it will come closer and then go further away. Okay, that is what it means. In fact, you can also understand that in a simpler this thing. The very basic way you can say, when it is closer to the sun, it is warmer, that is your summer. And when it is further away from the sun, that time it will be winter. That could be one way of looking at it. Okay, so at times it is closer and at times it is farther. That is F1 and F2. So the sun is at one of the foci. That is the first law. Then second law, Kepler's second law. What does the second law say? The second law says the line joining the planet and the sun. The line joining the planet and the sun. The line joining the planet and the sun sweeps equal areas. The line joining the planet and the sun sweeps equal areas in equal intervals of time. Sweeps equal areas in equal intervals of time. Sweeps equal areas in equal intervals of time. Now people might ask, sir, sweep matlab not that sweeping that you do at home, not that sweep. Okay, here by sweep it means it covers. Okay, the line joining the planet and the sun covers equal areas in equal intervals of time. That is what we can say. Now, again, if you look at figure 1.4, where it is more easily and better represented with the help of that figure, you can see I'm just trying to do some justice to it. Okay, all this, if this is the sun, these are the distances that will cover. These are the distances that it covers. Okay, in equal intervals of time. Supposing if it takes 1 hour to cover this, it will take 1 hour to cover this also, and it will take 1 hour to cover this also. The distance, now you'll say from here to here the distance might be more, but if you'll take the area, if you'll take this shaded area, in all three cases the area will be the same. That is what it says. Okay, in all three cases the area will be the same. So if this is the planet, if this is the path in which the planet is moving from A to B, from C to D, and from E to F, okay, it moves in the same time frame, or it takes the same time, 1 hour or 10 seconds or whatever time it takes. It covers equal areas. Because here it is closer, it is spread a little farther. Here it is far away, so the distance is little less, but the area is same. Okay, the line joining the planet and the sun sweeps equal areas in equal intervals of time. That is what is Kepler's second law. That is what is Kepler's second law. Then we come to Kepler's third law. What is Kepler's third law? Let's see that also. Kepler's second law, let's look at Kepler's third law. Write down. Kepler's third law. The square of its period of revolution. It means planet. When it says its, here we are talking of a planet, whichever planet. It could be Mars, it could be Venus, it could be Earth. The square of its period of revolution. The square of its period of revolution. The square of its period of revolution around the sun. The square of its period of revolution around the sun is directly proportional. The square of its period of revolution around the sun is directly proportional to the cube. Is directly proportional to the cube. Is directly proportional to the cube of the mean distance. Is directly proportional to the cube of the mean distance of a planet from the sun. Is directly proportional to the cube of the mean distance of the planet, from the sun. I'll repeat again. The square of its period of revolution, around the sun is directly proportional to the cube of the mean distance of the planet from the sun. That is what it says. Okay, that is P square is directly proportional to R cube, or I can say P square upon R cube equals to K, which is constant. Okay, you can call this. We'll be using this later on. Okay, so let's write that as equation number 1. Now, based on this, okay, and their studies, then Newton gave a universal law of gravitation. पहले यहाँ पर ये लिख लो, then we will see that. Okay, as we had briefly or roughly described gravity, we said it is the force which every object attracts every other object, but we'll write it in a proper and a systematic manner. Okay, so let's write down Newton's universal law of gravitation. 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 What does it say? It says every object in the universe attracts every other object. Every object in the universe attracts every other object with a definite force. Attracts every other object with a definite force. It says every object in the universe attracts every other object with a definite force. Full stop. This force is directly proportional. This force is directly proportional to the product of the masses of the two objects. This force is directly proportional to the product of the masses. Is directly proportional to the product of the masses of the two objects, directly proportional to the product of the masses of the two objects, and is inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them, and is inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them. Says the force is directly proportional to the product of their masses m1 into m2, and is inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them, and is inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them. So if I were to write it in one formula or as a one this thing, it would say F varies as m1 dot m2 upon d square, m1 dot m2 upon d square. Or if I were to introduce the universal gravitational constant, I can say F equals to G, capital G, okay, not that small g which is constant 9.8 वाला नहीं है, gravity वाला नहीं है. This is capital G into m1 into m2 upon m1 into m2 upon d square. Call this 2. This is one more equation or one more expression that we have derived, which we will be using later on. Okay, you don't have to prove this. You don't have to prove this derivation. I don't know whether you have done it in 9th or not, but previously this derivation was there, which we used to prove. Now you all don't have to prove that. You just take it as F equals to G m1 m2 upon d square. F equals to G m1 m2 upon d square, where G is the universal constant of proportionality, universal constant, which, and it has a value 6.673 into 10 raised to minus 11. Okay, G, this is universal gravitational constant, and its value is 6.673 into 10 raised to minus 11 into 10 raised to minus 11 Newton. The unit is Newton meter square kg square. Newton meter square upon kg square. Newton meter square upon kg square. Okay, G is 6.673 into 10 raised to minus 11 Newton meter square upon kg square. This value, if they give you, well and good while solving numericals. If they do not give you, you should know this, because it's a constant. It does not change from sum to sum. So it is expected that you should know these values. Till here, are we clear? Okay. Is this clear? So we have got what is F. We have got what is, we have found the value of G, which is 6.673. That is a universal constant. Based on this, there will be some numericals which we will be solving as we go along. Okay. Now, going further, the center of mass of an object. Now, at times what happens is the object may not be spherical. The object may not be spherical. So the center is not located exactly in the center. Sometimes it can be a little towards one side, or at times it can even be outside. So the center of mass of an object, when we say center of mass of an object, it means, okay, the center of mass of an object is the point inside or outside the object, inside or outside the object, at which the total mass of the object can be considered to be concentrated. Okay, it can be inside or outside the object at which the total mass can be assumed to be concentrated. So in a spherical object, okay, which has uniform density, the center of mass is at its geometrical center. It is at the geometrical center. Okay. Normally it is at its centroid. So what is a centroid? Where the three what meet? Geometry mein three medians meet, isn't it? That is called as the centroid, which is at the ratio 2:1. So at that centroid is the mass of an center of a mass of an object. Okay. So that is what we just need to know. इसका कोई derivation, कोई application नहीं आएगा, but you need to know that. Okay. So next we are going to see magnitude of centripetal force. We are going to see magnitude of centripetal force. That's what we are going to see next. But since that requires a little bit of derivation and we have less time, we're not going to do that now. Okay, we will do that when we meet in the next class, and then we'll do Earth's gravitational force, and then we'll see whether the gravitational force on the Earth is constant across all places or whether it varies. Okay, whether it varies from place to place and height to height. All these things we are going to see. We are also going to learn about free fall. What happens about in free fall? These are the things that we are going to see in this chapter as we go along. Okay. So as I said, there's less time. That's why I don't want to start with a new topic, which we'll not be able to finish. That is uniform circular motion, जो आपने 9th में तो पढ़ा था, but उसका magnitude of centripetal force, where we are going to prove F equals to 4m pi square upon r square k. Okay, that is what is the formula which we are going to prove using Kepler's law, where p square upon r cube equals to k. These things we are going to introduce and we are going to solve, but that we will do subsequently in the subsequent class. That is, I think we are having the next class on Monday. So we will meet on Monday. That time we will do this. Okay. Any doubts
Okay,
till
sir.
whatever we have?
Okay, sir.
Any doubts till whatever we have done till now?
No, sir.
अभी तक जो भी
No,
किया है
sir.
उसमें we've just covered 4 pages of this chapter, not too many. Okay. There are lots of things that are yet to be done, but सिर्फ ये 4 pages जो हुए उसमें कोई आपको doubt है तो please पूछो अभी. Okay. Of course, there are 12 more
No
pages.
doubt, sir.
Please also read the chapter if you have not read it, so that you have any queries, आपको कोई doubt आता है, so you are ready with that, and when we are in the class we can discuss that. Please पढ़ लो ये chapter,
Okay, sir.
and for all
Okay,
of you
sir.
there is one very important thing that you should know. Okay, what is that? What is that? नहीं मालूम किसी को भी क्या है पता नहीं.
नहीं मालूम, sir.
रहेगा, कुछ तो रहेगा ना, आप बोल रहे आपको पता रहेगा. Correct ना? The thing that I'm trying to tell you is, any guesses? No guess?
No, sir.
What I'm नहीं.
No
अरे
guesses.
गेस भी नहीं कर सकते. क्या होगा? रॉन्ग ही होगा. उससे ज्यादा क्या होगा? ठीक है, I'll tell you. It's a very very interesting thing. शायद आप लोगों को मालूम है या नहीं पता नहीं, बट बताना मेरा फर्ज है, इसलिए मैं बता रहा हूँ. Okay, so that you all realize what we are facing. What we are facing.
Corona.
नहीं, no corona and no China and no this thing. अपने को वो उसके लिए बहुत सारे लोग बैठे हैं. अपना कोरोना इधर है. दिख रहा है आपको ये? क्या
हाँ,
है
दिख
ये?
रहा है.
क्या है ये?
259.
नंबर है, नंबर सर, नंबर.
नंबर है. किस चीज का है पता है आपको?
नहीं मालूम सर.
नहीं. Days. अच्छा, forward. समझ गया.
समझ
उसके
गया.
फायदा नहीं.
हाँ
उसके
सर.
ऊपर you have to act on it. You have
Okay,
just
सर, हम समझ है.
you have just 259 days, nothing more. Okay, and in that you have to prepare for your board exam. You have to prepare for all of your these things. You can't just have इतने पूरे दिन नहीं है आपके पास, इसमें आपके प्रीलिम्स होंगे, इसमें आपके टेस्ट होंगे, इसमें सब कुछ रहेगा. Only 259 days left. Or 259 days are going to determine what you're going to do for a long time. In fact, I would say for the longest time in your life after this. कहाँ जाओगे, क्या करोगे, कितना करोगे, कहाँ पर एंट्री नहीं मिलेगी, ये सब ये 259 days है आपके हाथ में. If you work hard, you can do wonders. And if you don't work hard, wonders will be only wonders for you, है ना? Then there will be 7 wonders of the world, 8 wonders of the world. सिर्फ वो दूर से ही देखकर खुश रहना पड़ेगा. Otherwise, you yourself can do wonders. Choice is yours. If you can work for 259 days, you can work wonders. Otherwise